thing that I want to discuss this week is something that I shared on our Six-Figure Funnel Formula Facebook group. And I want to share with you what I shared, and I want to share a little bit about the response and feedback and questions that I got to make sure that you understand. And so our May MFA group, you guys are coming up shortly onto Module 3. And when you get to Module 3, you're going to learn, which is my favorite of all the modules because it's really at the foundation of what makes for a high-converting marketing funnel. Regardless of what the model is that you're using, it's at the foundation of your success. And so I'm super excited for you guys and gals to get to that. And what that is all about is really how do you actually structure your marketing funnel message, right? Like what do you say in your marketing funnel? What do you say? How much should you say? What shouldn't you say? What order you should say it in, and so on. And kind of I've come to have this mantra when talking with new clients especially, and even old, long-time clients that have been with me, excuse me, since the beginning of marketing funnel automation, is this idea that in many cases you're better off thinking like a prosecutor when it comes to the design of your marketing funnel message than you are trying to think like a slick marketer, a slick salesperson, or a copywriter. You know, what I see is that, Marketing 101 teaches us that people are emotional creatures, right? People make decisions. Your prospects make decisions mainly driven by emotional reasons, right? We are emotional creatures. There are a set of emotions that drive all of us at our core. And when you really peel back the onion and you get to the root of the reasons why people make decisions, you'll find that at that root, you'll find is one or more or a complex set of emotions. And so Marketing 101 teaches us that your marketing needs to tap into people's emotions. It needs to stimulate their emotions. It needs to prod their emotions, right? And the type of emotion or the set of emotions that you tap into in your marketing certainly depends on the product that you're selling, the nature of the topic of what you're talking about, right? Sometimes you'll see there are lots of marketing campaigns out there from companies, let's say like Agora, that sell financial investing information and guidance that are more fear-based, that tap into people's fears, right? Sometimes online you see marketers really leveraging fear of loss, fear of being left behind, fear of missing out, fear of some impending doom, whether it be health-related, financially related, right? And so that's one aspect or one set of emotions based on the appeal of the marketing campaign. Then there are certainly other emotions, right? There is the feeling of belonging, right, and wanting to feel like you are a member of a group. There's status. There's a whole set of emotions and whatnot that plays a role in marketing for sure. And what we've all been taught up to this point is that you need to make sure that your marketing is focused on the stimulation of those emotions, the right emotions. And that's all true and valid and absolutely critical, except that that's not the only thing that you need to focus on. Right, and what that means, what I mean by that is that you need to give people a rock-solid argument, a rock-solid, logical, rational, believable argument for why what you're saying is not only true and accurate, but for why your product or service, your solution is the perfect thing for their needs. Today, it's a different game, it's a different environment that we live in today than it was 20, 30, 40 years ago, when some of the classics of direct response marketing, some of the classic books were written. Those books are still incredibly valuable today, more valuable than the new tactical type of marketing books, but the environment has changed. And so what we need to recognize today is that prospects are more cynical, more skeptical than ever before, right? Because today, more so than ever before, they're inundated with marketing and advertising on a daily and weekly and monthly basis. More so today in a single day than most people many decades ago, many years ago, were exposed to in an entire month because of the internet, because of television and radio and satellite and newspapers and magazines and billboards and vehicles that are now covered in advertisements and SMS messages and direct mail. I mean, right, it goes on and on and on. We're bombarded with these things. And so it's not enough to solely rely on emotional stimulation, right, to adequately market and sell, not long term, right? In other words, you know, promotions and campaigns and funnels particularly that are solely based on emotion, and you see a lot of this come out of the world of business opportunity, money-making, the money-making opportunity world, where their campaigns are almost purely driven on emotion. Everything is about, you know, finally you won't have to look at the right side of the menu, and you'll be able to lay your head on your pillow at night, and you'll be able to sleep well, and you won't have to worry about your finance. And imagine taking great vacations and driving a Bentley and all this, right? And that certainly works, but it produces a much higher level of buyer's remorse. And it's not a viable long-term back-end strategy to build a business that has continued, ongoing, responsive customers. Certainly, you need the emotional stimulation. People need to know what's in it for them, and they need to know what's in it for them on that emotional level, right? How is this going to change their life? How is this going to give them the outcome, the results, the benefits that they ultimately want on a deeper emotional level? Absolutely. But you also today need to provide that rock-solid sales argument. And that's why I routinely will say you are much better off thinking like a prosecutor. Look, the reality is that prosecutors are some of the best individuals at getting jury members emotional, right? They do things, they show things, they say things to trigger certain emotions. But also layered on top of that, right, in conjunction with that, there is a rock-solid presentation from beginning to end, all connected, interwoven together, that prove beyond a shadow of doubt what it is that they want the jury to believe, right? And so at the foundation, you can't lose sight of the fact that today, right, especially because people more and more have options. They have opportunities that they once didn't have for solutions, for products, for services, that today you need to prove to them that that what they're being presented with is true, is accurate, is legit, and is the best solution for them. And so strewn throughout your marketing funnel, right, and really at the foundation of your marketing funnel, your marketing funnel success, is you need to prove to them why taking action today is the best choice for them, is the best solution for them, is the best option for them, why it is superior to everything else. It's not just a matter of making promises. Anybody can do that. It does not take skill to simply make promise after promise after promise after promise, right? What it does take skill to do is to make promises and to make and present claims and to present benefit statements and then back those up with viable, believable proof, right? And so I'm not talking about here, and this is what I want to stress because this is some of the kind of questions, if you will, and feedback that was received when I kind of drove this home to the group, was that I'm not talking about simply presenting a fact-based, non-emotional, sterile presentation. That's not what I'm talking about. You still need to tie it into emotions. You still need to demonstrate benefit. You still need to present the results and outcome. Remember, that is what drives response. But at the same time, you need to layer in there a rock-solid argument. And that's where thinking like a prosecutor is extremely valuable, because what you're really doing is you're presenting a case, right? And some of the best copywriters, some of the best advertising copywriters of all time, the individuals that have and will go down as legends, individuals like Gary Benzavenga who for many years he couldn't be beat. His stuff was being mailed millions of times, right? He generated multiple millions of dollars in royalties for himself, for his copy, right? If you read the copy, it doesn't read like copy. It doesn't feel like copy. It doesn't feel like a sales pitch. It feels like a valuable, informative piece of information that happens to be totally dialed and targeted to what the prospect was interested in, right? But it led prospects on a journey that proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that what was being presented was true and accurate and legit and the best course of action for the prospect. And Gary talked all the time and even presented at his last $10,000 per person event in Manhattan that at the root of his success as a copywriter, at the root of his ability to craft controls that could not be beat, that couldn't be knocked off their pedestal, so to speak, for years, right, at the root was a preponderance of proof. And so, again, you know, it's not this either-or mentality. Many of you that have been around, that have been part of marketing funnel automation, the coaching program, or Mentor to a Million for any length of time, you've heard me say before that one of the biggest mistakes that I see entrepreneurs in general make, really people in general, when they are faced with a decision, is this either-or mentality. Right? It's not an either-or. It's not either I can be emotional or I can prove my case. It is both, right? It is how can I have both and how can I incorporate in both. And so I want you to understand that it's not one at the exclusion of the other, and that today more than ever before with the competitive arena that each and every one of us are in, you need to have a rock-solid sales argument coupled with the emotional reasons why somebody needs to respond and take action. And so I hope that you really understand that. That is at the root of, like I said, everything that I do and craft both internally and for consulting clients.